Hi there. I am the CRM Ninja, and on today's episode of the Oops Factor, I have the privilege of having Ken Auguillard on the show. Welcome to the show, Ken.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's great to have you on. So the question that's been on my mind ever since somebody mentioned this to me was, you are known for barbecue, but the big question about barbecue is it Texas low and slow or Kansas hot and fast?
Admittedly, I am biased. Um, I am a fan and a steward of Texas barbecue, right? So I live in Texas, so okay, that's part of it. Interesting fact, we did have a Kansas City barbecue place open up about maybe 8 miles from my house. It
Okay.
lasted 3 months and closed. So, all right.
I hear Texas folk are quite traditional.
We can be right. It depends. I am although I've been here now 23 years. I was born and raised in Louisiana, so I've got this hybrid sort of heritage, if you will, to my claim to being a Texan. Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
So is it sort of that everybody who lives in Texas does barbecue, or was there something that drew you to it to start with, or how did you get into it?
That's a great question. So I won't say everyone that's here in Texas does barbecue or actually knows how to do it, but I found a few things curious, interesting about it. One, I really love to cook. My wife and I have been married for 20 plus years. In that time, she's only cooked 3 times. I do all the cooking.
Wow, lucky lady.
Um, the smoking aspect of it all, I would go eat all these different barbecue places, trying to find the best barbecue in the state, if you will, right? And that's subjective. Okay, so
Yep.
everybody has their own taste. But I was like, oh well, I could do this. Like I can figure this out. So I started doing that, and I also noticed this really this is a true story. Interesting fact. Anytime we have any type of tropical storms here, or things like that, one of the first things to go missing in the stores is going to be briskets, because folks go out and they buy briskets, and what do we do during a hurricane? We smoke meat. So
I guess there's some logic to that.
right. So last time we had a hurricane, I was outside smoking brisket and doing it, everything else, and then I used that to sort of feed folks around the neighborhood and family and friends that power went out, or something may have happened. So brisket sandwiches and all kinds of other things that's going on. Right.
Nice.
But I do like the science of it all and trying to figure out how do you get the nice smoke ring, the caramelization, the technical aspects of it, right?
It is very, very technical and very scientific. It's not just you throw some wood on and you just leave it, although some people do. But to get that really good quality, there is a science to it.
There absolutely is. I mean, there is several different methods you can think about in terms of like doing a brisket. What's the right temperature to bringing it to? Do you wrap it? The answer is yes for me. Do you not wrap it? Do you wrap it in pink butcher paper, or do you wrap it in foil? Do you only put salt on it? Do you put salt and pepper? Do you braise it with this? Do you there's a lot that goes into it. Right?
It's a bit like consulting, I guess. The concept of it depends as to what you want the outcome to be.
It absolutely is. Or even, like when we work with customers, like when I work with customers, I try to really listen to what it is the outcome is that they want, right? I don't want to don't tell me you just want to use, I want to build an app or whatnot. Okay, well, there's a lot that goes into that. If you thought about identity management, if you thought about security, conditional access, oh, well, then let's talk about your data policies. Well, how are you structuring that? All these things start going into my head before, I really give an answer to a customer, right?
Yeah. I think we could probably go with a bestseller about, tying together consulting and cooking and smoking brisket. I've got to think of a good title for it. Smoke Your Customers probably isn't the best one. That just randomly came into mind. But we could be on for a bestseller here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think we can use the term low and slow when we're talking about consult. Right? That
No,
would that would probably be a really bad one there. But I'm pretty sure
that's
we could figure something out.
yeah. Well, we'll connect offline for it. So moving on from brisket to the oops factor, what do you have to share with us?
Um, well, I mean, I have a whole bunch of different, topics that we can probably cover, but um, I got asked this really interesting thing one day at the last M365 conference, and this is maybe more of a personal story, which has kind of helped shape who I am. Right.
Okay.
Um, so I can't exactly turn around to show you this, but I have this massive scar that starts probably an inch or so up into my hairline, and
Okay.
then goes down almost to mid to my shoulder blades. Right. So I'll keep it fairly brief, but in 2005, I had this horrific motorcycle accident in which I was traveling east and the car was going west. This young lady turned in front of me. I hit the car on the A pillar. It launched me 50 to 60 feet in the air and about, they said, another 60 or 70 feet forward. I
That
had my
is I mean, I ride a motorbike. I have a Ninja. Well, part of the reason why I'm the CRM Ninja, of course. That's crazy. Just hearing that. Wow.
fun fact, I was on a ZX 900, right? So a Ninja, right?
Wow. Okay.
Um, I do miss that bike. It was great. It was just absolutely fun.
They're beautiful things.
They are. It was a work of art. But I landed on my neck. So I broke C3 to C7.
Oh
Right.
shit.
Right. So
Sorry.
C3 to C7, and along with some other things like my left arm, my pelvis was broken in two places. I had some things in my hand that were broken and other things like that, right? But my guardian angels were certainly with me. So right behind me, there were two off-duty paramedics in separate cars
Okay.
and an RN in a third car.
Okay.
They all stopped. They all tended to me.
Thank
Um,
God. Thank God for that.
so if they're listening, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. Right. But I went through, I had a whole bunch of different surgeries and whatnot. So like I can't fully turn my neck all the way in certain things. But and I wish I would have pulled my x-ray up to sort of show that. It looks like railroad tracks, right?
I can
Uh,
imagine.
but it kind of fundamentally changed a whole lot of things and whatnot in terms of like how I perceive things and whatnot, right?
How long ago was this? Out of curiosity.
It was in 2005. I was in the hospital for almost 3 months, all the way to rehab and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
Um, I lost a lot of weight. Um, so I think when I went in there, I weighed 235, 240. By the time they were trying to get me up and walking, I weighed almost 160.
Ouch.
Right now, understand I am 6'4", 6'4".
Oh
Right.
wow.
So that's that's itty bitty for a person my size, right? But it's going to sound like maybe a strange thing to kind of take out of it or come away with it. I was very, very thankful for the doctors and the nurses and everyone else that helped me. And part of one of the things that I sort of came out of that was this other sense of purpose of wanting to also help others through it, whatever I could do, right? So be it me, yes, cooking barbecue for people, right? Or talking to them about technology or their careers or things like that, right? So like now I love mentoring people and whatnot. It's a passion of mine. Like I want to be of service. I want to help. It's
Yeah.
just one of those things, right? So somebody told me that I got knocked on the head way too hard when when that happened. He's like, nobody comes away from a motorcycle accident saying, you know what, I want to go out and help people. Well, I mean, I kind of did, right? So
Wow.
no, that wasn't kind of maybe an unexpected story for me, right? And that's the short version.
I can imagine some of the longer version. I mean, I've broken stuff myself, maybe not motorbike, but the aftermath of skydiving. I used to sky. I used to be a skydiver. I know what it's like to be in hospital and the rehab and the rest of that.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming, I can only assume, after surgery and the rehab and stuff, things were uphill. Things were a struggle, but obviously you pushed through it.
Yeah, I definitely, it definitely was. I mean, I had to learn how to walk again. I was telling someone recently because they were asking about the scar, and I mentioned to them that I, for some time, right, I didn't have any feeling below my legs.
Yeah.
So the doctors didn't think I would be paralyzed, but there was nerve damage. I mean, there was a lot of trauma right on my spine and whatnot. So they would tell me things like, "Hey, move your toes," and be like, "Okay," and nothing was there. But then they would take a pin and then stick my foot or something, and my leg would jump. And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, you're gonna be okay," right? So one, yes, I learned a lot of things about perseverance and whatnot. Um, Also, a lot of things about having faith and looking at things about not knowing what the outcome is, about
Yeah.
what's actually going to be, of what's unseen, right? And what else inside of there? I definitely think that, well, I shouldn't say I think. I should certainly say I know that one, I'm not exactly afraid of motorcycles or anything like that, right? But if I see someone on the side of the road or something and they need help, I'm going to stop and try and assist them, right? Like I said, it just gave me a sort of renewed sense of purpose and things along those lines, and really helped me through and shaped me, excuse me, into the person that I am today.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the best answer for that.
Wow. So obviously that was, we're now in 2022. It was almost 20 years ago. You've had a successful career, you've changed career along the way as well, obviously being an end user and then coming into, Microsoft itself and such. People, as they go through career, not everything is easy. Sometimes we can have small bumps, sometimes we can have big bumps, but how did you taking your experience that you had with that and fighting through it and everything else, how did you then look to apply it in life going forward to say, essentially, was it, if you could conquer that, you can conquer anything? Or how did you do it? Because these sort of things I find really inspiring and try to apply in my own life in terms of taking my own life experience for that.
That is a great question. So I maybe have two different answers, two avenues of answers for that. First off, you're absolutely right. I mean, the career change thing was really good for me, right?
Okay.
It's not that like I disliked my job at my former company or anything like that, right? It was certainly just time and room for growth.
True. Happened.
So I felt that I was very grateful, right? Extremely grateful for the opportunities that I've been given, but there was an opportunity for me to make a move, make a career change, and I knew that it would inspire growth within me in some way, shape, or form. Right?
Okay.
I didn't exactly maybe know how. I just know the little birdie, my conscience told me, you should do this, right? You should move this way, right? Now, at the same time as that was for myself, but I was also, really hesitant to do that and move because I had these very close friendships with the folks who I worked with, my team as well, right? Like when we started the journey, moving to the cloud, our team started with like 5 people. We grew that team to about 16, right? And it was very interesting. We had all kinds of different personalities and whatnot. There was one thing that I learned from one individual, won't say their name, but they had been diagnosed with chronic depression. So they came by and they talked to me about it. And as a manager, I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, what do you need from me? How can I help you? How can I support you? So, I just wanted to let you know, because I felt that at times I wasn't giving my best, and I just wanted you to know why. It's because I'm going into a spot of depression. So they shared this with me in confidence, and it's like, okay, great. Thanks for letting me know. Said, oh, by the way, whenever you're feeling the depression spell come on, please let me know.
Okay.
So they did that. And what I did in turn was I tried to figure out, how to help them through it and support them and whatnot. So first time didn't go so well. I didn't know what to do, honestly, right? Just kind of thinking about it, talk to them a little bit more.
Yeah.
Second time it happened. This is not funny, but it's funny. I assigned them a ton of work. When I'm saying like a ton of work, like I took work from other people and just gave it to them, right? And the next week they came back and they kind of said, hey, I told you that I was going into depression, right? But you're giving me all of this work. I said, okay, is there a problem? Yeah, I'm trying to get all the work done or anything like that. Okay. So how's your depression? It's like, I don't have time to think about my depression because I'm too busy working. I was like, all right, problem solved. Right. So we had a good laugh about it. And, it formed a very great friendship out of that. So we still talk to this day. And, it was a very interesting approach on it, right? Yep. So it was disruptive, it was uncomfortable, but it was necessary. So the same thing, I looked at that and said, okay, well, I want to make a move. And I also want to help people. I want to be around folks that are like-minded, like myself. So it was a really good fit, right? It certainly has been a change and sometimes even a struggle. Like, honestly, okay, great. Yes, I work at Microsoft here. I am over the moon. It is phenomenal. The folks around me, the organization, part of the organization that I'm in, it is absolutely wonderful. But when you first get onboarded, you are like, just information is just coming. It's coming. And it's like 3 to 4 months, 6 months, even sometimes a year of just, all of this, right?
The fire hose.
Yeah, the proverbial fire hose of information, right? And sometimes the fire hose simply turns into a monsoon and just like even a tsunami of information and work and whatnot. But it is, I wouldn't change it for the world. Like it's great, right? When you can, build a product or make a product better or help a customer or interact with someone, mentor someone, anything like that. That's why I love speaking at these conferences. Just like, is it okay for me to say like I get high off of it?
Yeah.
Like
It's a speaker's thrill. It's a speaker's high. I get what you mean.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely do. So I think that's that's definitely my answer for that. I know it was in 2 parts, but
no, it's cool. Well, Ken, thank you really so much for coming on the show. I can definitely say very honestly that I wasn't expecting you to share anything like that, and it's awed me. definitely inspired me. So thank you so much for coming to share it.
Yeah, I try to be, the very genuine person, right? When you meet me, I've been told that when folks meet me in person, because they've usually only seen me on camera or something like that. One, they generally look up,
Yep.
and they tell me, "Oh, like one, you're tall, and two, you're actually really nice." I'm like, what? I think it's because of the tone of the voice and so on, right? I mean, I've got this big voice and
Yep.
everything. But yeah, if you see me out in public, folks, it's okay. I like, come on by, say hi. Right?
This guy will talk to you about brisket.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we'll absolutely talk about brisket, right? Or we can even talk about baking, or other things, in the culinary world. Right? Happy to do that.
Brilliant. Well, viewers, we hope that you've enjoyed this episode and be inspired as I am. Feel free to check out the rest of the Oops Factor playlist, subscribe to the channel, and take a look at the blog. And if you would like to come on the show, drop your details somewhere. There's a link below. Fill it in, and I'll get back to you to get you on. But above all, have an amazing day.